Hey guys, it's Mike Racine. Guess what time it is? Time for me to beg you like a whore to follow me on all social media. Follow Matt on Twitch. Follow me at Mike Racine on Twitter. At Racine Mike on Instagram. I like sharing stuff. That's where you guys can DM me. If you haven't already, please leave us a little rating and review on iTunes. Those help us out. And we hope you're enjoying the show. Remember, you can always email the show at sitdownpod@gmail.com. Matt's address is will DM me on Instagram for his home address. I'll happily give it to you. And yeah, keep the feedback coming. We appreciate it. As long as you're not a cunt, huh? You know, this is a show about crime, organized crime to be specific, and sometimes we're like, and so like, we want to talk about this Max Landis article, and we want to sort of focus on everybody who made this guy's abuse possible, you know?
Right.
Because nobody just does it. Nobody just does this kind of thing and then gets away with it without the help of other people.
Right. The enablers.
Yeah.
To rewind, Max Landis is an American screenwriter and filmmaker. He's known for writing the films Chronicle, American Ultra, Victor Frankenstein, and Bright.
And he's a genius.
And for producing the sci-fi series Channel Zero and Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency for BBC America.
Mm-hmm. I do want to say that it is my birthday, and
happy birthday!
Thank you. This is the second episode that we recorded because the first one was dog shit.
Yes.
So we're doing a whole other one.
Second time's the charm.
Second time's a charm, baby. Mm-hmm. This time, we got a dinner reservation at 6 o'clock, so we got to bang this out.
That's right, and I gotta straighten my hair so that Mike doesn't feel like he's dating the head of the PTA.
Oh,
like
did
he
I say
told
that
me
last
yesterday.
night? Yeah, I said you look like a soccer mom. You keep chopping your hair off.
Well, the blonde did that to my hair. It killed it, so I had to chop off the dead. But
other girls I date don't do that.
Oh.
I don't know why you keep cutting your hair off.
Probably stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I gave a girl that I dated an eating disorder.
You did? Oh, my.
Well, no, that's what Max would do to women that he dated.
Right, I know. I figured that's what you were going with. Max is 6'4", so he's not even short.
He's 6'4".
So I don't know why he's, like, raping people, but...
Oh, you're saying that guys who are over 6 feet tall don't need to rape anybody because they're attracted, because women already want to fuck them.
Well, I mean, they have one...
You're saying that you wish I was taller or you would be more...
Michael,
you would want to have sex more.
Are the perfect man for me from head to toe.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So Max is the son of legendary director John Landis. It's funny, the word legendary gets thrown around pretty.
Yeah, what else did he do
easily.
other than Twilight Zone? What's John Landis?
Well,
known
he
for?
did Coming to America.
Oh, okay.
And he did like American Werewolf in London.
So his movies are substantially better than his son's.
No, his sons are better.
Really?
His sons are way better.
Oh, really?
No.
Okay. No, not at all.
No.
Okay. You're confusing me. That was very I don't know.
Well, so we read this Daily
Convincing.
Beast article. So people were upset when that movie Bright came out because it was like some actress, I think Anna, her name was Anna Akana or something. She had some posts where she was like, "This guy's a known abuser. Why is Netflix like letting him, you know, why is Netflix letting a known abuser make movies?"
Well, isn't that the criteria? Like
it is?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like inclusion
Yes.
criteria. Have you raped someone? Okay,
Right.
good. So you're in the club.
Right.
He's a genius though. He graduated from the University of Miami.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's clearly
Only the best and brightest go there.
for
Ray
sure.
Liotta went there. I was actually doing some research about his father, and it turns out, so in 1982 they made this Twilight Zone movie, and it was like a 4-part movie, and John Landis directed a segment of it, and they had to shoot a scene where there was like a helicopter scene.
Okay.
And I think what happened was the helicopter they were using got overloaded with like special effects, and the helicopter crashed, and it decapitated an actor and then like a 7-year-old extra, and it crushed a kid.
Oh.
And then everyone on that movie was like charged with like involuntary manslaughter, and they were tried and they were acquitted.
For like negligence?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because there was something wrong with like the way the stunt camera was set up.
Did
and
they
then
not
also,
have
like,
OSHA back then?
I don't know.
Oh.
What's OSHA?
That's like, safety on work
the job?
sites. Yeah.
Is that? But does the movie industry have their own form of OSHA?
I think everyone has to be compliant, but I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I think what the problem
He was the director of Thriller?
Yeah, he directed Thriller.
Oh, so these people probably have no morals. So
No.
John David Landis is an American
probably
film
helping-
director, comedian, screenwriter, actor, and producer. He's best known for the comedy films that he directed, such as National Lampoon's Animal House, The Blues Brother, American Werewolf in London, Trading Places, Three
He
Amigos.
directed Animal House.
Yeah, Coming to America and Beverly Hills Cop 3, and for directing Michael Jackson's music video for Thriller and Black or White. Ha.
So now the tables have turned when he's done stuff that Deborah likes.
No, I didn't say that at all. I'm just like, all of these people in Hollywood are rapists. That's what I'm thinking.
Yes.
There's nothing is safe anymore. Have you even seen Britney Spears' Instagram lately?
No.
I'm worried for her.
Why?
She just seems so crazy in everything she posts.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Probably because all of the stress and just pressure that's within Hollywood and that aspect of fame.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you get to that level, just stick to like TV. Jeez
Right.
Louise.
Yeah. So I think what they're saying is John Landis allegedly, so he was acquitted for not killing that woman or not killing those kids.
So he wasn't found guilty.
Which is a great day, you know?
Right. Good
You're
for
like,
him.
honey, good news. I didn't kill those kids.
Right.
Yeah. I heard they were maybe that's what happened. They were so happy that they fucked, and then they made Max.
Oh, and then he was he was
conceived through evil.
Right. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
John Landis. I want to look up this court case.
So anyway, look that up, because allegedly what happened was he was acquitted, and then he like threw himself a party. He threw like a 1-year anniversary party.
So this is
the date of him being acquitted for not killing those kids.
The Twilight Zone accident. On July 23rd, 1982, a helicopter crashed at Indian Dunes in Santa Carlita, California during the making of Twilight Zone, the movie. The crash killed 3 people on the ground, an actor and 2 child actors, and injured the 6 helicopter passengers. The incident led to years of civil and criminal action and was responsible for the introduction of new producers and safety standards in the filmmaking industry.
Now, I heard another thing that happened was like the kids that were killed were like immigrants, like they weren't like proper extras or something.
He also violated California's child labor laws by hiring 7-year-old Micah Din Lee, a Vietnamese child, and 6-year-old Renee Shin Yi Chen, a Chinese child, without required permits. So I don't know.
That's the kind of monster that we're dealing with.
Yeah, and I think that like when you become famous and people are like going out of their way to impress you, it inflates your ego and it makes you in a sense feel invincible.
Right.
So he probably as a director just
it makes
sees
you
these...
feel more important because you're like, oh, my overall vision is more important than these lives.
They're pawns.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, you're just like, you're lucky to be a part of this, and if you died, then you at least died and you'll be remembered. If it wasn't for me, you'd be no one.
You'd be no one. You'd be working at a donut shop in Los Feliz right now.
Right.
Yeah. So basically what's happening is now his son Max is a screenwriter, and he wrote Bright and he wrote Chronicle. Let me try to find an interview with Max talking about his shitty movie. I don't know if this is like evidence of the kind of guy that he is, but basically he's saying that like he was saying that like Bright was going to be his Star Wars.
It does seem like he created it with that thought. He definitely was like smoking weed and thinking like, this is some next level stuff, man.
Yeah, he definitely thought this movie was going to be something big.
Yeah, like there's levels to this. Like we're talking of satire and sci-fi intertwined.
Well, it seems pretty... Like, it seems like he was trying to make a statement about class and race in America. But it's like, okay, you just made a movie where like the monsters are supposed to represent black people.
Oh, really? I didn't see. I couldn't even get through this movie because it was boring to me.
Yeah.
And but what was that thing
elves,
about?
all the elves, they just have giant noses.
So what? Wait. So who are they trying to?
I don't know.
Me neither. But. What were you sent me something like, this is semi-related, but about irony and how like it's not even beneficial because all it's doing is highlighting issues.
Yeah.
And not providing. What was it?
Yeah. Well, it was just a weird... I mean, this movie is probably his more serious crime. We can watch the trailer if you want. I mean, it was just this weird thing where it's like orcs are sort of like looked down on in society, right? And then he's like, I even saw this interview where he's like, he clearly does have a view of the world where I guess people are beneath him, because he's giving this interview and he's like, oh, it's like a modern day, fantasy thing where like orcs, he's like, orcs, you know what they say about them? They're servants of the Dark Lord. But that was a long time ago.
Oh.
So it does seem that he thinks that like people of different...
so this is a society that has progressed over time. So in the past there was it's like a version. Yeah, so it's right. But now they have progressed, but there's still some like underlying speciesism in their society. Is that right?
It's just he sucks.
Yeah. The budget for the movie was $90 million.
That's a lot of money.
And then for the synopsis,
but that was just to pay off that family that his father killed.
Right. It's an alternate present day. Humans, orcs, elves, and fairies have been coexisting since the beginning of time.
Right. So it's like, these fantasy worlds where, there's orcs and there's elves and stuff. So this is like, imagine if that happened a long time ago, but it kept going.
Right.
And it's still around today. So he's giving this interview and he's like, oh, orcs, you know what they say about them? They're servants of the Dark Lord. But he's like, but that was a long time ago. Now it's fine. So I guess you're saying that like orcs used to be evil, but now they're okay. So do you feel that way about like, Arabs or something? Like, why are you trying to make that comparison? Why are you trying to like...
Right. He's like trying to be deep, but it's just like coming off offensive.
But it's just giving away what a like piece of shit he is. And then the whole thing is like the elves are like the people at the top of society, and like half of LA is like, or there's a part of LA where it's all rich people and they're elves. But like society isn't really segregated like that, where it's part of town is only elves. You still need people to like work at the Sweet Green or whatever.
Oh, and okay.
Are you listening to anything I'm
I
saying?
am, but then I just found this guy's Instagram.
Do we even have a connection?
We do. Do you know what his Instagram handle is?
What?
Up to my knees, 1985.
Up to my knees?
Yeah, and is this guy here? Is that guy from his movie Bright?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Let's watch the trailer for Bright.
Okay.
Right before we give it to this guy.
Why is there a fairy in the bird feeder again?
Good afternoon, officer. Fairy lives don't matter today.
Oh.
That's it right there. Now take the little homie out LAPD style like you do. Oh, and you keep doing all your gangster stuff. I'm just trying to sell my house. Don't worry about that. Everybody's just trying to get along and have a good life. All of the races are different. Just because they're different doesn't mean anybody's better or worse than anybody.
Hey, where's the diversity hire?
I got a dude in my car. I didn't ask for it, but the whole world is watching. Well, it's okay. You don't like me. Man,
all right, the movie's a piece of shit, but I guess what I want to talk about is, well, this article, this Daily Beast article,
right?
And one of the big, I mean, what do you think for this? What was the big takeaway for you reading this article? Because for me, I'll tell you.
Yeah, let us hear what yours is.
Well, it just seems like they were trying to make the point that, like, nobody just starts being abusive right away. No one comes out of the gate and starts, hitting you and sexually assaulting you. It starts, I guess it starts with them, like, kind of breaking you down psychologically.
Right. I think one of the lines that I took away from the article was the girl talked about how she was showered with presents and lavish parties and very intense I love yous, but then that eventually morphed into very controlling behavior and unrealistic expectations and hypersensitivity and cruelty down the line.
Yeah.
But it starts off with like all these very, shiny things.
Yeah. So let's do this though. Let's take it from the beginning of like, because it seems like a lot of these women have the same story. It's like they start dating him or they meet him, and there's instances where like he violates some sort of social conventions. One thing that stuck out in my mind was like some girl said within minutes of meeting him, they were ordering food, and he said that like, oh, what you're ordering is retarded.
So he's negging her.
He's negging her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, he likes, I don't know. So he probably read that, what's that Hitch book?
Oh, The Game?
The Game, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's all different forms of abuse. Like, so that would just be like verbal, emotional, and psychological abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's saying something, but then he's also like changing her thought process according to like what she's eating and stuff.
Right.
But then he's probably like, I'm kidding.
Right.
Can't you take a joke?
And now here's the thing with stories like this. I feel like it is kind of easy to be like, oh, why didn't you just get out of there? Like, why didn't you, like, I don't let people talk to me. You're like that a lot. You're like, I don't let people talk to me like that.
I don't know. Am I like that? I feel like I let lots of people who are close to me get away with stuff.
Like who?
Just anyone in my life. They can plow over me. New people have a hard time getting in, I think. Like, I'm not going to get abused by a new comer.
Mm-hmm.
But like someone who's been around for a while can like really do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, and yeah. So, but I don't know. I don't want to seem like somebody who thinks they're so tough and is like not able to be abused.
Yeah.
I mean, it could happen to anyone.
Yeah.
You just can't trust guys because they are all insecure.
Right.
And they want to abuse you so that they can feel better about themselves. Except you. You're an angel.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah, but it seems like so he would date these women. He would be verbally abusive. He would show them like abuse porn.
Right.
He told the girl that like he got off when she cried.
So yeah,
he
that
liked
part.
Watching her cry.
Yeah, and then he would like torment her until she cried, and then he would have sex with her and not stop when she said stop.
Yeah.
And then when she said that's rape, if I'm saying stop and you don't, he said that they were just having playful sex.
Yeah. Yeah. Rachel Sennett made a meme one time, I remember, and it was like the NY. It was like different. It was like the different fuckboys you meet in college.
Mm-hmm.
And one was like the comedy guy, like the NYU comedy guy, and it was like a picture of a guy in like a Hawaiian shirt holding a video camera, and it's like all the characteristics of him like around the guy. And one of the things was like his favorite movie is Animal House or like Caddyshack or Animal House or some other shit movie that isn't funny anymore. And
right, I bet if we rewatch those movies, they were like very cringeworthy because people are jokingly doing things that are cruel and harmful.
Yeah, it's just funny to me that like someone would be that impressed by the guy whose dad directed Animal House.
Right. But I think that,
like LA is a pretty sad place.
Yeah, it's filled with desperation and ridicule and rejection.
Mm-hmm.
But then also like lavish parties and cool outfits.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like knocks you down and builds you up and knocks you down and builds you up. So it's like a breeding ground for abuse because there's all different types of abuse, which are like there's physical, sexual, verbal, emotional, mental, psychological, financial, cultural, and different forms of neglect.
Right. Where did you find this info?
This is from psychology.com.
Okay.
And then on what is this one? Hold on. On betterhelp.com, it starts to like list how these things, like more in detail, like what exactly is mental abuse.
Right.
But then also the manifestations of these things. So jealousy, controlling behavior, quick involvement is a very key indicator of an abusive relationship. Like you go from nothing to
like living together
really quick.
Right.
Unrealistic expectations, isolation, blaming others for problems, hypersensitivity, cruelty, playful use of force in sex, verbal abuse, and rigid sex roles.
It seems like he did that right away too. He would be pretty like forceful, and he would like there's one story in the article of him and this girl, and they went to Disneyland for the day. They weren't dating yet, and he like got a room, and he was like groping her like in line, in front of families and kids and stuff. And then it got to the point where he was yelling at her. He screamed like that he wanted to fuck at Disneyland
because he wasn't getting enough attention. Disney World was getting all the credit for the fun.
Yeah,
he needed to bring it back to him.
Yeah,
and his penis.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess they like went back to the room and they had sex. But like it does seem like I guess people kind of like because I always. Anytime there's people who touch you too early, need to be kept at arm's length, I think.
Yeah. I don't really see the need to touch anyone.
Me neither. I never touch anyone.
Yeah, I don't know why people touch.
Besides myself.
Yeah, right. And he does that plenty.
That's not true, Deborah.
But I don't like when people are walking past me and touch me. I don't like when people are in conversation and they put their hands on my shoulder. I don't really like to be hugged. I will tolerate shaking hands, but it's not my favorite. But I know lots of people who really like to get touched by other people. It's like reassuring. Doctors are told to like when they're delivering bad news to put a hand on their shoulder or something like that to make it more of a bond. But I think that I definitely avoid touching people and avoid being touched.
Yeah. Do you think that like this is a guy who enjoys abusing people, or do you think that he's just a guy who's like, well, I'm going to get whatever I want and I deserve what I want, and or do you think he sort of gets off on the cruelty of what he's doing?
I mean, I don't know for sure, but what I did assume based on reading the article is so he is a mediocre director of all these like awful films, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he prided himself on having a close circle of well-to-do friends called the Color Society, and it was like a cult, and he was like the head of it. So he like obviously he probably used his dad's fame as a way to be more likable.
Mm-hmm.
And then that made him feel superior,
mm-hmm.
I'm assuming,
mm-hmm.
right? But at the same time, he probably rationalizes thinking like, people want to be around me. I'm a great guy, and like I do all these great things. I throw these parties. I buy gifts. Like whatever we do, I'm just messing around. Like, you know, I don't know.
They said he would do things where he would have like 100-person Nerf gun battles.
So he's like a big child.
Yeah. But it just also kind of feels like LA must be pretty fucking lame. Like when you're not making movies and I don't know, it just seems like the glamour of LA is very much it just seems like it must be very boring out there.
Right, but like,
it must
could
be
you
hard
imagine...
to like see your friends and hang out with people and
right,
you know.
I mean, like this guy's 33 today. You're 31. Do you want to celebrate your birthday?
32 today.
32. Sorry.
Yeah.
Do you want to celebrate your birthday with a big Nerf party, or do you think you had
part of me does?
Really?
Yeah. But I would also be embarrassed to invite people to that.
I mean, it's just weird that like I don't know if this is a Hollywood thing, and like the fact that like maybe some people growing up in Hollywood, they didn't experience an ideal childhood according to what they wish they had. Like even Michael Jackson was like, I was robbed of a childhood.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's 30 years old having Nerf parties.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe it just like growing up without that parental attachment kind of creates these monsters. Yeah. And they learn that like the only way to get love is force, because they're kind of like neglected by their parents and raised by nannies.
Mm-hmm.
And then that creates these monsters.
Yeah. I guess the thing I want to talk about too is like we know some people who you could say probably have power in like the entertainment industry, but nobody. It's hard to imagine watching someone be abused and not doing something about it.
Right. I mean, I haven't witnessed that in my personal experience in comedy.
Yeah. It would be hard to, like, if I knew something about somebody, it would be hard to not say something. I don't really understand.
Yeah, I don't see myself siding with some. I am not close friends. I'm not friends with anybody who's been accused of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Have any of your friends been accused of anything?
No.
So I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I think that when you're in entertainment, though, lots of people are social climbers, and they're just like willing to overlook things because they want to get ahead, and they don't want to like do anything to hurt their chances of success. So they enable people, and that's how people get away with things because you know, they feel invincible.
This says every Halloween he'd pick out his 10 favorite people of the moment, rent a limousine, and take them celebrity party hopping. The next year, half those people weren't deemed worthy anymore and were replaced. He'd also hold annual Burning Max trips to Big Bear or Idlewild, where it was the same deal. He would manipulate people, try to create riffs for fun, get information. Everyone wants to feel special, and he did that while also tearing you to shreds.
So he wasn't even friends with famous people, because famous people don't want to go to famous people's parties.
Yeah.
They're going by themselves. They don't need some guy to take them there.
Yeah.
So so he just like prided himself by having like groupies.
Yeah.
Ew.
Now, it also says that a lot of the women that he dated, right? A lot of the women that he dated knew that he would engage in this behavior with past relationships. He would talk about it. He would admit to it. He would be like, oh, yeah, my last girlfriend, I used to cheat on her all the time and I gave her an eating disorder. And he would act like he was sorry. And he would sort of convince these women that he had like changed, that he was trying to be a better person.
Right.
A lot of these women did think that he was like trying to be better. And maybe he was trying to be better. I doubt it. I can't imagine that he was. I'm sure he like knew what he was doing. But there's been stuff that I've done in the past that is like shitty, but I feel like I've acknowledged that I don't want to be like that anymore.
I mean, I think that people can have the intention or desire to want to be better, but like that is useless if there is no action. So like if somebody has an abusive past, then the only way to remediate that would be to no more substances, and also like going to therapy and support groups and things along the lines of that, like cognitive behavioral therapy. I feel like I always talk about that. But like you have to actually take steps to change your behavior. Otherwise it's just going to be like a cycle of repetitive behaviors. And just saying it might make it worse because you're like, oh, I want to be better and I used to be bad and I'm trying to be good now. But that could be like a false, like, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Like it makes you think you're doing more but you're not doing anything. You're just saying it.
Right. Here's a quote from the article. He was always vicious, but everyone would say, oh, that's just how Max is. He's a jerk. He knows it. He calls himself out on it. There was this conflation of self-awareness with meaningful change. In my opinion, some of the worst people in the world are those who openly admit they're terrible, using that proclamation as a get-out-of-jail-free card. They think, well, you were warned.
Right, yeah. Someone told me once, like, if a person tells you how they are, you need to believe them. So if some guy's like, I don't deserve you, then he doesn't, and you should run away.
Yeah. This says he'd compliment me for not eating. He bought me workout classes to shape me the way he wanted. I lost 15 pounds I couldn't afford to lose. He would make comments about the way she was dressed. And, yeah, he would also admit that he did it to other people. Look at this guy's face.
Yeah, I'm looking at his Instagram. Why is he doing that power pose?
I don't know. I hope there's comments. I mean, I don't think anything. It's, he's not even like a good writer, really.
Wait, he wrote Bright or he directed it?
He wrote it.
He wrote it? What a creep.
Yeah.
I mean, he just looks like he does this like Zoolander face in all of these pictures. It's sickening.
Yeah. I remember going roller skating with Max. He was not good at roller skating, and I laughed. I was knocked to the ground. He threw the plate of food he'd been holding in my face. That I can kind of identify with because I've been roller skating and I'm not good at it.
Yeah, but like, who cares if you're not, like, that's so funny that like I can't stand that type of hypersensitivity. Like, don't make fun of me. I'm a really famous guy, and do you know who my dad is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who cares if I can't roller skate?
Yeah, that's why movies suck. It's made by there should be like a rotation in Hollywood where they just find like the 5 most talented kids from the ghetto and let them make movies. And then after like 5 years they get kicked out and they bring somebody else in.
Or I think maybe like famous people shouldn't be able to procreate because they just create monsters that think they're important and they're not.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun if you were running for president? You're like, and also these people in Hollywood should not have kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A heavily redacted. What does redacted mean?
Taken out.
Okay. A redacted legal document obtained by the Daily Beast shows that Max was involved in a September 2008 Miami Circuit case, domestic violence division. The Daily Beast reached out to Callie Ray, the woman listed on the documents. Ray confirmed that she made the 2008 sexual assault allegation against Landis and eventually dropped the case. She directed the Daily Beast to her close friend, Ashley Heffington Dion, who witnessed her alleged sexual assault by Landis. Apparently what happened, this is the girl's roommate. Dion is Callie's roommate. Dion wrote, I was asleep and awoke to what sounded like a person falling, and then I heard what sounded like another person picking up someone and setting them down. I then heard more sounds of motion, and I heard Callie's voice ask in a confused and quiet voice her then boyfriend's nickname, and then repeat the name she called her boyfriend, still sounding confused and delirious. I then heard a male voice confirming he was boyfriend's name. Knowing her boyfriend was out of town at the time, I jumped out of my bed and walked into our shared living room to see Max over Callie on our couch. Oh, they weren't even dating.
Oh.
How did they know? Oh.
What?
I thought Max was, when I initially read this, I thought Max was dating Callie.
Uh-huh.
But Callie she was drunk. She went out with a group of friends. Max was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I heard more sounds of motion. I heard Callie's voice asking a confused and quiet voice her boyfriend's. So let's say her boyfriend's name is Nick. She's like, she thought it was Nick, and then
but it was him,
and he's fucking her.
Right.
He was on top of her, and her pants were off, and he was thrusting, and I could hear the sound of what he was doing. I yelled, "You need to leave right now!" He got up, quickly pulling his pants up, and I physically rushed him, aggressively demanding he leave. Standing now in the carport, I yelled at him what he was doing was wrong, and it was not okay. He needed to leave right now. Dion continued. He started to get highly emotional and was crying, saying he knew it was wrong and he was so sorry. It seemed as though he was hoping to be comforted in that moment. So he's like making himself the victim.
Right, yeah. He's trying to manipulate her with his emotions. He's like,
Yeah.
I didn't mean it. My penis got hard and I had to put it somewhere warm.
Right. And I guess that is sort of like when people are shitty like this and manipulative, that is the one recourse that they have, where it's like they act like they're the ones being aggrieved.
Right, yeah. They use their emotions to try to manipulate the people around them.
Yeah. Because I asked you about this recently. I was like, do you think, because I always like, I always feel like when someone is acting like they're a victim or they've been aggrieved, I always feel like that's a bit of a red flag.
If somebody's acting like a victim, or if they're like,
if someone's acting like a victim.
I mean, it's hard for me to say. I think what you're trying to say is, for instance, if someone's like, yeah, I got fired because like all these people are jerks and they didn't treat me right and they're doing everything wrong. If I heard that story, I'd be like, you're probably really bad at that job.
Yeah.
I'm going to think like this person is trying to blame other people when in actuality, like they probably did something to get them in that position. I don't know if you can like generalize that to relationships and stuff, but I think that people who come from a place of power and also have other mental health problems, they know how to manipulate others.
Yeah.
And they will try to twist things and turn things around so that they can get themselves out of trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they just, I don't know.
And now this poor girl, she can't date her boyfriend anymore because she's committed adultery.
Because
He's got to leave her now.
Oh, God, Michael.
Yes, the next morning, Dion asked her friend if she remembered anything from the previous night. She could not remember much, but woke up feeling physically ill and profoundly sad. She recalled she had been out having drinks with a group of friends that included Max. She could remember being out drinking, but couldn't remember much more than that. I told Callie what I witnessed. I thought it was a serious violation to her and a crime. After talking through it, we decided to go to the police station to file a report that morning. I drove her to the station. We both got a statement and filed a police report. So anyway, long story short, they file a police report. There's a court hearing. Max's lawyer comes up to Callie. She has Callie and her mother. She indicated it would be long, and she would have to talk about the assault over and over. The attorney came off patronizing as she said things like, I will make you look like an idiot, and this is not going to be easy on you. The attorney said she was going to make a fool of Callie, talking about how much she drinks and talking about the nature of her relationship to Max. She then asked again if this is how Callie wanted to handle this issue. I could feel Callie was overwhelmed. Callie sat there, tears running down her face, holding hands with her mother and with me. Callie said she did not want to go through with this process.
Yeah, that's insane. Maybe he drugged her. I mean, how could you like?
Yeah, she thought it was her boyfriend.
To drink that much that you're like so. I mean, I would have puked before that happened. That's insane.
This is the kind of thing where I don't know. It sounds like that lawyer maybe really got to her, or maybe she thought that she didn't have a case. All I know is
But she also probably feels like she doesn't remember enough. So it's like she's going to be put on the stand and asked all these questions. And
it's like not worth it.
She's like, I don't even know because I vaguely remember this night. If it happened to me, like, that's awful. And I don't want someone to, like, theoretically get away with it. But at the same time, it's like, how am I going to testify to something I don't even recall?
Yeah. Sometimes there is this like instinct with males or with guys to be like, just go to the cops if something happens to you. But I don't know if that's what you're going to go through. I think it's I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. If somebody did that to somebody, like if somebody raped my dog, you know,
you'd kill them. No?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just handle that yourself. You wouldn't go to the police.
Maybe there just has to be street justice, yeah.
I think so. Vigilantes.
No, but if someone did that to like my daughter or my sister, I mean, I feel like, I don't know, you just have to.
You know what? I don't know. Maybe it's like, comes down to just like Hollywood in general and the humans that are bred there. My mom, I remember like when I was a child, I really loved celebrities and I wanted to be famous. And my mom would always be like, no, Deborah, they're crazy in California. They
are.
Yeah. And then that movie 13 came out. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah.
And my mom was like, you would never go into California.
Oh, did you see it with your mom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because we were like, Tuesdays is when the new movies always came out. So every Tuesday there was a video store across the street from our house. So we would always get the new movies. So we saw everything that came out in like the 90s and 2000s. But yeah, so it is crazy. I mean, I think that in order to confront these types of issues, like it all has to start with education and then also like mostly parental education. Like this is what a human requires in order to have a healthy development. They need to have bonds with their parents. They need like skin to skin contact, eye contact. They need to learn lessons and spend quality time with their parents and know that like as a parent you're a role model. So it's like you need to create good humans. And I just don't know. I feel like wealthy people, they're just like, oh, I have all the money in the world. I can have a kid because money's no object. I can hire the best nanny, get the best toys, have the loveliest home, send them to the best schools. But that's not adequate.
Yeah. Do you feel like we're the way that we talk about sexual assault has changed?
I think more people are acknowledging it now. Once again, going back to my mom when we were talking about the Brett Kavanaugh hearing stuff, I was like, well, this guy did all these things. And my mom was like, Deborah, it was the 80s. Everyone was doing too much. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But maybe culturally
so why should this
that
great
is...
man have to suffer for something he did in the 80s?
Exactly.
It was the 80s.
I think like though perhaps in that time period, it's also that was like a big time for organized crime too. It going off this theme of this podcast.
Well, it's because there was lead in the paint.
And also it's like, I don't know, like in Scream, they say movies don't create psychos, movies make psychos more creative. But all of the humor in the entertainments of that time is like pretty hateful and like bully oriented and like
in the 80s.
Yeah, 80s and earlier too.
Like what?
So like even if you go to The Outsiders, you've got like the Socs and the Greasers, right? There's like these two different groups of popular and not popular kids, and the way that they demonstrate this relationship is like the kids are getting beat up or tormented. Even Stand By Me, there's like these bully popular guys, and then there's these like scrawny little kids that are getting tormented, and also the Breakfast Club, just like all these different people from different areas of like social class within a school setting. And it's like they're like it's all stemming from a bully culture. Everything in the 80s that's entertaining. So
And when your dad made his money from that kind of stuff.
exactly, so it exploits it, right? And it also romanticizes it.
Maybe. Yeah.
Who knows? Should we go through this list of the qualities of a
I guess
rapist?
Another thing I want to say too is like a big thing in life is you have to sort of like there are times when you will be confronted with people who are manipulative and will gaslight you, and I think the only thing you can do is just cut them out.
Right. Yeah. If they try to use their mood to manipulate you, like that's just a sign like that they are a toxic individual.
Yeah.
Because like you can't live your life if you're catering to a psychopath.
Yeah. There was a kid in first grade who like asked me to share his food with him or my food with him.
Right.
And then he asked me for more. And then I was like, I'm not. And he was like, then I'm going to tell on you for sharing food.
Right. You told me this, and then he told on you, right?
And he told on me. Because I was sharing food with him.
Yeah.
And he was mad I wouldn't give him more. I hope that guy's dead. I think about him.
Yeah. What kind of parents did he have? Who taught him that?
I don't know. His mom was all right.
Must have been the father.
Yeah, he was like a nice guy too. I think he was just. And then his brother like said he was gonna like rape a girl.
What?
Yeah.
Ugh. Jeez Louise. I don't even know.
I really hope he's dead now.
Maybe. We're lucky.
Yeah.
Watch, he's like, join the Peace Corps.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like just great. Yeah, just a great guy.
But broadly speaking, a potential rapist will exhibit the following signs, according to a clinical psychologist, and that's impulsivity and angry outbursts, verbal and physical violence without provocation, inappropriate touching and fondling younger siblings or friends, teasing behavior, especially in school, threatening others with dire consequences, suspicious and paranoid behavior, hours spent in self-stimulatory activities like masturbation, poor work ethics, lying and stealing begins early, leading to antisocial behavior later in life, socially uncomfortable with the opposite sex, but after consuming addictive substances begins to show aggression towards them. Immature thinking and impressionable, so they're easily influenced by peers, and communication style is intimidative and involves a lot of reverse thinking. Yeah, so then women, they should be wary of inappropriate touching from people. This is the advice this article says.
Right.
Staring behavior from strangers. So if anyone's staring at you for too long, like they could be, like this could be 90% of the world at this list so far.
Yeah. 3,
stalkers. 4, lewd comments on their private parts. Anyone who acts over friendly. Avoid a person who's trying to get too familiar in a drunken state. And finally, someone who sits too close, presses your hand or shoulders, and brushes past you repeatedly and says sorry. So,
right.
I think all of every bar in New York City is just covered in rapists, it sounds like.
Yeah, sounds like it. Yeah. I wonder what's going to happen to this guy. I mean, do you think he can face any criminal charges?
I mean, everything has to be beyond a reasonable doubt, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to say.
That sounds like, I mean,
how
I don't know.
How are you going to cancel a guy who
can...
already makes bad movies? His movies didn't even cancel him.
Yeah, I don't know if you can convict based on that, but I can't imagine he'll work again.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe, though. When was his last post on Instagram? When was this accusation?
Well, the accusation's been around for a while, but
he hasn't posted since February.
Really?
But he's not private. Does he have a Twitter? Max Landis Twitter. But No, but every time when you Google him, it's all about he's dropped by manager following sexual assault.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Somebody said you're probably stressed out right now. You need a vacation, Max. Go to Dominican Republic and drink from the mini bar.
Yeah, did you do an episode about how everyone's dying there? Like 4 people have died coming back from 9?
Yeah.
One of them was a sonogram tech or somebody who worked in radiology at Amanda's hospital. That's my sister for the listeners who don't know. Are we done talking about Max the rapist? Should we talk about your 32nd birthday?
My 32nd birthday?
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Today?
No.
Oh.
Something, yeah, no.
All right.
Him and his father have the same birthday.
I know. I saw that. I didn't know if it was a mistake. August 3rd.
Yeah.
Weird. That's weird.
Well, hope you go to jail.
From IndieWire, there's an article. Max Landis should have been thrown out of Hollywood years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to. We're being pretty quiet.
Well, is there anything else? I mean, the other thing is like he claims that he never abused anybody on the set of any films, but there was an incident where like some girl showed up. He turned around and put his hands around my throat, and he got very close to my face, and he said, "I will fucking kill you. Do you understand what I'm saying? I will fucking kill you." That was when a girl slapped his butt. He didn't want it. He didn't want her to. So
he's
keep
very
your
sensitive.
Hands to yourselves, ladies. Yeah. Right. Don't be sensitive.
Yeah.
There
don't
was an
talk
incident
about his
where
roller skating and don't touch his butt.
Yeah, there was an incident where he made a bunch of girls get topless on the set of like some short film. There wasn't any mention in the script of that, happening. Another woman that he abused was Bobcat Goldthwait's daughter.
Who is that? What kind of name is that?
Bobcat Goldthwait. He's a famous director and actor. Remember that show with the talking bunny?
No, keep more information. Oh, no.
He kind of talks like this.
No idea.
All right. Well, anyway, he met Bobcat Goldthwait because he did something to his daughter, and then he saw him at a party. And he was like, "Oh, Bob, I thought you would hate me."
Mm-hmm.
You know who Bobcat Goldthwait is. All right, everybody.
I don't.
Guys, thanks for listening. It's my birthday. We did an episode before this, and it was bad, and Deborah made me do it again. So,
do you feel better about this one?
Episode, I feel better about this one.
Okay, good. The last episode.
Thanks for doing that.
I kept talking about things that Mike didn't want me to talk about.
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
But I guess not.
All right. Listen, we got to go.
We got to go eat some ravioli. Is it raviolis? Or is ravioli already plural?
Ravioli is already plural.
Oh.
Yeah, we got to eat some ravioli. Thanks for listening, everybody. Remember, patreon.com/sitdownpod, sitdownpod@gmail.com. Follow us on social media. And Deborah's phone number is 347-225-7394. So give her a text. Let her know what you think. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.